Yoga is a thing now, right? Any yogis in the house? Yeah? Yoga is a white people thing now. We've lost yoga to the West. It's fine. Like, yoga used to be this boring, passive activity that people did in their pajamas. The hardest pose used to be Tadasana and Shavasana. Standing up and laying down. Basically, if you were alive, you were doing yoga. And then the Americans got involved, and it became a blood sport. I live in New York City. I see all these women with their yoga mats and their $200 yoga pants with holes in them. And they're always rushing to get to yoga class. If you're rushing to get to yoga class, you're doing it wrong. And if you kick a homeless man's change cup on the way to yoga, yoga can't help you. You need therapy. Or at the very least, a drink. But since there's so many yogis in the room, we're going to do a quick pop quiz, okay? What's the name of this pose right here? Warrior? Warrior 2. Calm down, Type A. Calm down. So I just want to know, what war are you fighting? Like, North Korea is loading up the missiles. We've got this guy. Okay, pop quiz 2. What is the name of that sweaty yoga? Hot yoga, Bikram, right? People love that. The people who do that yoga, they're hardcore. Like, if you bump into Becky, who just came out of hot yoga, she's so excited. She's like, oh my God, I just love that hot, sweaty yoga. And she always wants to know, do Indian people do hot yoga in India? It is hot in India. And people do yoga. But we don't roll the furnace into the room and blow it on our bodies. That is not hot yoga, that is white yoga. Okay, pop quiz 3. What do they say at the end of every yoga class in America? Namaste, right? Wrong. Namaste is hello. Somehow it became goodbye. If you go walk into a store in India, when you walk in, they say namaste, not when you leave. They're gonna say a lot of things when you leave. Like, if you leave without buying something, they're gonna say, dekho tatti karke gaya hai. Which means, look who took a shit and left. But they're not gonna say namaste. So I've been married, a long time, and people ask me, what's the secret to my long marriage? We have a secret. It's that we have an understanding. If we separate, he has to take the kids. But I have to keep his mother. So what's the point? And sometimes we fight. I tell him, go take the kids. One has a tennis tournament and another has a chess game at the same time. Figure that out, Mr. Logic Man. And one has a peanut allergy. I'm not telling you which one. I get asked if I was arranged. I wasn't, but my sister was. And sometimes I'm jealous because she has a 15,000 square foot house, a private plane, true story, and a dead mother-in-law. You know, the funny thing about arranged marriages is that they almost always seem to work out. Like my friend Kanika likes to tell her story. She's like, you think your mother-in-law is bad. So it turns out that 20 years ago when she was getting arranged, her husband didn't want to marry her. He didn't like her. But his mother put her foot down. And she said, no, you can't back out now. This match is made. We rented the elephant. But in a few years, if you still don't like the girl, you can always set her on fire. Oh, relax. They learn to love each other. It even became an inside joke. You know, they argue like all couples, and he says, shall I get the matches? And she says, first you'll have to find the kitchen. So I met my husband online 25 years ago. Yeah, not the way you guys meet today. Like, nobody asked you up. Nobody asked, what are your hobbies and passions? Like, if he has a job, there should be no passions. Back then, there were only 2 genders to choose from. And if somebody asked, what's my orientation? I said, my apartment faces south. One time, somebody asked me if I was bi-curious. I said, what are you buying? I'm curious. We were so naive, we acted as if there was a matchmaker, even though there wasn't. Like, he asked me if I could cook. I said, can you show me your tax returns? He said, can you bring some dowry? I said, can I interest you in some Bed Bath & Beyond coupons? So in a way, we arranged ourselves, and that didn't go over well back home. Like, his mom was pissed off, my dad was upset. So, you know, match made in heaven. Neither side of the family spoke to the other side for a long time. We refer to that as the honeymoon period. I remember when I watched a Brown comic for the first time, you know, one of these Indian American kids born and raised here, and they were complaining about their overbearing, difficult to please parents. I realized, I was like, oh, I'm who they're talking about. You know, we have a nickname for these kids. We call them ABCDs. What does it stand for? American Born Confused Daisies. What it should stand for is always bitching and complaining dum-dums. Because God, they whine about everything. It's like, oh, our parents made us go to medical school. Yeah, we don't want you working for T-Mobile. We weren't allowed to go to summer camp. Yeah, and you weren't molested. We're not allowed to marry who we want. No, you can't marry that waitress with the neck tattoo. And you didn't even agree to go on one date with my friend's daughter, Priya Kapadia. And these kids, they think we don't know anything. We're so old-fashioned. They have a nickname for us. They call us FOBs, which stands for Fresh Off the Boat. What it should stand for is Full of Benjamins. Because guess who's gonna subsidize the ceramics? And we don't know anything. We don't know anything. It's just a complete coincidence that every CEO in the world right now is Indian. Microsoft, Google, Twitter, Starbucks. Like, and some white guys in there too, but I forget their names. It's just a complete coincidence. You think those CEOs chose their own majors? You think those CEOs spent their summers swinging on a tire? You think their parents ever said to them, don't worry, be happy? And what do these kids want us to say to them? Go be a DJ. Be a YouTuber. UPS is always hiring philosophers. Start practicing now. What can Brown do for you? But there is one aspect of American parenting that I really respect. It's how they handle their gay kids. Like, our community is lagging behind. We have a lot of catching up to do. You know, my cousin's son just came out, and that family was not supportive at all. They were like, not in our household, not in this family. And I called my cousin up. I said, you cannot talk to your son like this. You're going to lose him. And my husband was so impressed with me. He's like, your cousin's son is gay, and you don't have a problem with that. I told him, it's not my kid. What do I care? My name is Zarna. That's not a real name. You see, my parents messed up. They misspelled it. It's as if I got up here and said my name was Melizabeth. Because Jharna with a J means waterfall in Hindi. Zarna with a Z is she's the youngest. Let the servants name her. No, it's okay. I had servants. And this permanent spelling error from the people who win every spelling bee. But I dreamt of coming to America just like Eddie Murphy. You know, when you're outside this country looking at life in here, everything looks so much more fun. Like people frolicking in hot tubs, jacuzzis, bubble baths. I mean, in India, you get water in a bucket. Like, there's buckets in America too, but they're filled with fried chicken. A shower doesn't stop here until you stop it. People fill gallons of drinkable water in a bathtub and just sit in it. Because they're sad. How can you not love this place? I love it here. And I worked so hard to come here. Any immigrants in the house? How hard is it, right, to come here? For everyone except the Canadians. No, there's always one Canadian in the room who's like, it wasn't so hard, we just drove in. Not that guy, but for the rest of us, the brownies, really hard to come here. The visa, the paperwork, years of waiting. And you get here and you find out that everybody hates everybody. The Democrats hate the Republicans hate the Democrats, pro-choice, pro-life, pro-gun, MacBook Pro. By the time I got my green card, I was like, I'm not so sure about this. The only thing everybody seems to agree on is that everybody hates Ted Cruz. See, he has a purpose. Let me tell you about my 16-year-old son, so handsome. I can show you a photo afterwards if you want. My 16-year-old son recently started walking to school with a girl. So I follow them. And my husband's been so impressed with me. He's like, our son is walking to school with a white blonde girl. And you don't have a problem with that. I told him there's nothing to worry about. It's not like she's going to get into a good college. Whatever, cancel me, I don't care. Besides, the blondes don't even get that joke. Now, my daughter called me the other day and she's like, I just met a boy. I was like, why? You're born here, you don't need a green card. She's like, Mom, he's really nice. Nice? Who needs nice? We need rich. And she's like, Mom, hear me out. He's an engineering major. I said, okay, I'm listening. He's from Connecticut. Fine, go on. His mom is the head of development at HBO. I said, he's got potential. So I have a third kid. I forget about him sometimes. I don't know what to say about him. I don't really know him. I mean, the nanny says he's perfect. But in our house, we don't use the word nanny. We call her auntie. Because this way, she can sit in for us at parent-teacher conferences, at doctor appointments, at college graduations. But speaking of college, I have to tell you, I have uncovered the world's biggest scam. Did you guys know that in this country, the parents don't get to decide what the kid's gonna study? You all knew this? I really thought when my kid goes to college, I will call the college up. And I will say, Comp Sci 1, Comp Sci 2, go. She wants to have some fun. I understand that. Give her one class in chemistry. It does not work that way. They're so rude, they'd hang up on me. So I had to call my kid and ask her. I was like, what are you enrolled in? What are you studying? Are you guys ready for this? Ceramics. $80,000 to learn how to make clay pots. Do you know who else makes clay pots? Villagers in India. Because they have nothing else to do. My kid is in Palo Alto, the epicenter of technology, making clay pots. Why am I being punished, Ganesh? Do you know how bad something has to be when the nice white guy in the audience is like, oh no? And now I have an update on this situation, and you guys are going to think I'm making it up. I'm not. I'm telling you the truth. I just found out that she's required to take a class in wellness. So she's enrolled in meditation, which costs extra. While she's meditating, I'm going to go have a stroke.